Welcome back to Animation Teacher. Now, this new session is to teach you how to clean up. In this sample, we're going to clean up an updated version of the Franco rig. So this is probably version 3. I'll just name this project Franco Clean. We're not going to clean up the entire body today. Just for this video, we're only going to clean up the head. So I'm going to file import a sketch that I did. So once again, we're going to set up our scene palettes and our swatches by clicking the plus sign. And I'm going to name this rough line. We'll just go with a typical blue here. Okay, so to rename a drawing symbol, just click on this yellow box here. I'm going to type down Franco hair. And just make sure it's set to parent peg. And under drawing, just make sure everything is activated and you're good to go. I like cleaning up using the rectangle tool because it keeps points clean and you don't get any extra points in your drawing, which makes it a lot easier later on if you need to edit your drawing using the contour editor tool, which we're using here today, right now. This is basically Bézier curves. So if you're used to any vector-based drawing software, this is the same principles. To create a new point, hold down Control and click. And to introduce the Bézier curves, simply just drag and hold Alt to sharpen the edges and click on the point. And you can also hold Alt and drag to create more curves. So it's a combination of Alt and Control. This is on the PC, of course. I think in the on the Macs it's Option key, but we're using PC, so I'll just use PC lingo here. Once again, we're just pulling the Bézier curves. Now, if you just activate the Bézier curves, every time you highlight it again, you'll see the curves automatically. If you don't activate the Bézier curves, you won't see it. So simply to activate it, using the contour editor tool, you're just going to circle select the points. Alright, so that's my Franco hair. I'm going to create another symbol by hitting Control R, and I'm going to name this Franco hair bangs underlay. Add and close, and I'll connect that to my composite. Start again with the rectangle, and this is our contour editor once again, creating new points by clicking Control or holding Control and clicking on any point on the line or curve to create extra points. And to play with the points, it's a combination of holding the Alt while dragging and pulling. And to get a sharp corner or sharp point again, just hold Alt and click on the points. So here is my Franco hair bang underlay drawing. Now, what's nice is you can always adjust these drawings after the fact. And actually, I forgot to do it here, but you'll see later on you can actually trace off a higher quality bitmap. To create a composite, it's Control H, and the reason why I'm creating a Franco hair composite is because I want to group my hair bangs together. So this is the first hair bang. And this is the second hair bang. And I'm going to do a third hair bang. So when you hit add, the box doesn't close, so you can create another drawing symbol. When you hit add and close, you only create the one. When you hit add, it creates another one, or allows you to create another one. So here is the second hair bang, and this is the third. Alright, so to get back to the camera view, just hit the transform button. I'm just going to reorganize this node view here and create another drawing symbol. I'll name this Franco Head Base Underlay. Okay, so I hit add, and now I'm going to create an overlay and hit add and close. So that's how those two buttons work. I'll connect this to the main composite and reorganize the hair. Okay, so let's start with our hair underlay, or our head base underlay. Now I've decided to create a head base for the cranial part as an underlay here, so that way when I create my overlay head, it's actually going to be the jawbone, and I think that's going to allow for some better animation and movement, as well as some face planing where needed. Once again, you can always adjust and tidy up these drawings afterward. That's the beauty of using a vector-based program like this. Nothing is permanent. You can always change it. Okay, so I'll create another composite. Once again, Control H, and I'll call this Facial Comp. I'll close that, and I'm going to connect the facial comp to my main composite and hit Control R to create some more drawing symbols. I'll call this Franco Eyebrow Close, hit add, and then Franco Eyebrow Far, hit add. Now the reason why we do close and far is simply because if you name something left and right, but after you flip your entire character symbol, your right could be your left, and it gets really confusing after a while. So when you're designing a character, especially if it has at some point a 3/4 view, which all characters should, you're going to have to decide what systems you want to name your parts in. I found from experience, close and far works much better than left and right. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to have to reorganize this node view. It's starting to get messy. Like these vector drawings, the beauty of node views, or the beauty of the node view, is you can actually reorganize all the time, indefinitely. So that means if you have an upgrade or an update, you can easily implement it into your rig. Okay, so I'm going to connect the eyebrow close to the facial comp, and I'm going to use the line tool. I'll show you some neat tricks about harmony here. First thing is, under the tool properties, if you use the black selection tool, you can control the maximum line and weight. You can also use the pencil editor tool and create thick and thin lines simply by selecting it individually or selecting both and hitting up and down on your keypad. And then afterward you can use the contour editor to add the curves. And the curves will maintain the thick and thin lines. I won't do it here, but you can also, under the Tool Properties section, add texture to your line, and you can also import line textures that you create from Photoshop. I'll do that in another lesson. Okay, so what I did here was I copied and pasted the art, and I flipped the eyebrows and put it in the Eyebrow Far, and I'm going to just make some tweaks. There we go. Copy and pasting artwork is Control C and Control V. Alright, next up we're going to do the eyes, once again using the contour editor. Now, something you might notice is when you're doing your drawings in the camera view, everything kind of fades off to white. That's basically obviously to allow you to see a little bit better, but also it tells you that you are actually in a drawing mode and you're using drawing tools. I'm just going to increase the size here. And I'll use my pencil editor here to add some variation in line weight. And I'm going to curve or round up my ends there so the tips are nice and round. And I'm going to add a little bit more taper to this. So to add a point, hold Control and click. Hold Control, click, and highlight up and down to increase the line weight on your using your keyboard. Okay, just a few more nudges. Next we'll create more colors using the Franco Clean palette. I'm going to create more swatches. And this one I'll name Franco Eye White. So I'm going to cut the drawing. Because I've actually done it in the eyelid. So I'm going to paste it in my eye white. I'll let that autosave. Next up, I'm going to draw my pupils, but I'm just going to deactivate my eye white by holding D or hitting D. D to deactivate, A to activate. So I'll go into the pupil here. I'll use this rough outline color. Now the reason why I like drawing circles with squares is just to minimize the amount of points. Unless you're going for a perfect circle, usually this does the trick. So once again, I'm going to copy and paste, Control C, and Control V for the far eye. Now, once again, when you're dealing with art in the drawing mode, the camera mode turns white and it fades off everything else. And it'll activate only when you're using drawing tools. If you're utilizing the transform tool, it's not going to allow you to adjust art. So this is the eyelid far. Just gonna adjust this. I'll change the ends so they're more round, and let's add some line weights. Once again, to create new points, hold down Control and click on any part of the line. It works for pencil tool and contour editor tools. Okay, so there's my far eye, eyelid, and after I have that, I'm going to click and fill the eyelid, Control X to cut, and Control V to paste into the eyelid symbol, or eye white symbol. I'll hit D to deactivate because I don't need to see it for now. Next up, I'm going to do an eye comp, so I'm just going to place all the eye symbols into there and connect it to the facial comp. So now I'm going to create a nose, Franco nose, and I'll connect that to my facial comp. Alright, he's got a fairly simple nose. Let's just skew these lines, and I'm just going to remove the top and sides here. And we'll smooth out the edges, or the tips. So here's the bitmap quality I was talking about. Under View, you just, or Control Q, you can just crank up your bitmap so you can trace it a little bit better. Now, one of the things about bitmaps is if you have it too high and there are way too many bitmaps, it can chug the graphics card and computer, which is why we keep it at usually a low res. But it'll always render at 100%. So next up, we're going to be doing a Franco ear, close ear. Once again, start with the square, and I'll just tweak a few things and add some line weight. Well, it looks like I missed one of the bangs at the top rear here, so I'm just going to name this Franco Hair Bang Underlay. What number is it? So we'll do Underlay 2, add and close. And square box, we're just going to adjust this. I think that's all the hair bangs. Just going to nudge this over a little bit. And finally, the last symbol we'll do is Franco's mouth. So once again, Control R to bring up a new drawing symbol. And using the square box, you can start the drawing, and we'll heavily edit this with the contour editing tool. So there you have it, the Franco face cleanup. On the next video, you're actually going to see a fully cleaned up version of Franco with some colors placed in and a full color palette. After that, in the final part of the video, I'm going to show you how to rig these characters. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.